When Netflix first started, I thought it was a really good idea coming at it from the angle of a consumer. But it was only a good idea for Netflix. If you're someone who is subscribed to this, you're seeing the problems with it. Rumor is that people who are behind the scenes at Netflix are told they're just told make content. This is what I've been hearing. They're told just make content. They're not told that they're really too concerned about the quality. In fact, as long as they're towing a certain political line, they're not too worried about it. When and this is not just Netflix. If you look at Amazon Prime, you look at Paramount Plus, you look at Disney Plus, what do you see? Star Trek. It's miserable. It's so bad, and they don't have. Alex Kurtzman should not still be making content for them. Yet there he is. I mean, look at Clarice. I watched the first half hour of the first episode of Clarice. I was like, "Yep, Alex Kurtzman. He doesn't know what he's doing." And I turned it off, and it was canceled like a week later, 2-3 weeks later. Anyway, I don't want to get on a rant about that. I'm just saying, look at Star Wars. The quality of that content is absolute, just bare basement awful. What do I mean by the quality? I'm talking about the ideas. I'm talking about the writing. I'm talking about the storytelling. There, there could be many reasons for this. I think it's political that they're hiring people based on ideology rather than skill, and it just is going to result in bad quality. Now let's talk about Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. I thought immediately when I saw that was a good idea for me as a consumer because I knew what kind of the pattern is with this type of content creation. So I wanted to get on the ground floor. I wanted to get it immediately. And the reason why was I think there's a shelf life to this, that eventually this type of business model will de-evolve the product being put out. Now, this is really interesting because today Sony announced their subscription model. And they announced they did not want to put their studios, homegrown studios, release date, day and date release. I don't know what that means, so I don't like saying things that I don't know the meaning of. Day and date means comes out the day it releases. I don't know why it's called day and date. Anyway, I've looked it up too, and I'm like, why do people keep saying that? And I wonder, just people just say that because they know that means comes out the day of. Anyway, whatever. So if you have a Sony subscription model, you will not get a Sony exclusives day one. It could be who knows how long. When I first saw that, I was like really scratching my head about it. I was like, why? Like, why would I bother with their subscription model? They came out and said, because we think the quality of the games are going to suffer. Now, I wish they were wrong about that 100%. And I don't think they necessarily are. Now, I have something else to say about that. But let's be very clear, that may not be Sony's motive. Look at Gran Turismo 7. So they released the game to reviewers. If you don't know about this, they released the game to reviewers. Reviewers gave the game a glowing, positive reviews. And then, not longer later, they downloaded a patch that made you have to race for hours and hours and hours just to unlock a car. In fact, some cars, it turns out you had a cap on how much money you could grind for, and you had to buy some of these cars with money, some of them $40. Wow. Really, really poor. And then they came out, and of course, people are like, I'm shocked they came out and patched it all, made it sound they're doing these great things to make it easier to get the cars. Well, that may have been part of the plan that whole time. Okay, so the Gran Turismo 7 debacle, we have short memories here on YouTube, but it casts doubts on Sony's motivations for why they don't want to release their games on day one on their subscription model. They claim it's for the quality of the games. I think this is money motivated. I think that they don't really want to compete in this market that Microsoft is dominating. So then, right now, which model's better? Well, there is absolutely no question that the Game Pass model is better than the PlayStation model. The PlayStation subscription model is, I use the word service in quotes. It's not a service model. It's really literally access to old titles, and that's it. You know, if you have a PC, Rich at Review Tech USA brought this up. If you have a PC, you can just emulate these games. And it's not even illegal. You can just emulate. There's emulators out there. You can play every single one of these games already on PC, these older titles from PS1, 2, and 3 that they're pushing into this. So why would you want to do that if you can do it for free? Doesn't make any sense. Starfield comes out in 6 months on Game Pass. It's going to be a blockbuster. That makes you want to have a Game Pass subscription if you're into these kind of things. What's coming out on PlayStation's version of Game Pass? I guess it's still called, I think it's still called PlayStation Plus, whatever. What's coming out that's going to make you want to have it? There's a shelf life to these things, right? So clearly, as of right now, Sony is not actually competing with Game Pass. It's not close. The only thing is this, just to keep this video short, I want to say this. Although I question Sony's motives, I don't believe they're really motivated by the quality of the games. I think they need the market to be the way it is and stay the way it is for them to make money on their studios the way they want them to make money. They don't want to be in the subscription market. And I've thought to myself, that's a good thing because it forces Game Pass to remain high quality. You see, which has not been the case for Netflix. Netflix doesn't have to be a quality subscription service because they're only competing against other subscription services. And what were they competing against? Cable companies, which was a complete ripoff. So it made sense to go from cable to a subscription service. If you haven't done it, you're wasting your money, right? So they didn't really have a competing model. But here I thought perhaps Sony, being on the other side of this, was offering real competition that might force Microsoft to make sure that their subscription games were of high quality. That still may be the case, but I want to say this. What Sony is offering in June is a smokescreen. It's a smokescreen. They're trying to tell you this is our version of Game Pass. It's not. They are trying to get you to pay for something you can play for free on your PC. So when Rich at Review Tech brought that up, I was like, that's a really good point. It's a really good point, and I feel like if enough people understand that, this thing might be dead in the water. I like both systems. I don't really care either way. But I'm going to tell you, as far as I can tell, if Sony's was as good, I'd be saying, hey, great, because I play a lot of PlayStation games. I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. I'll be doing that. But it's not. It simply isn't. Game Pass is a better deal, and come this June, I can't see me bothering with what PlayStation's offering. It's just not good enough, and I only made this in the hopes that maybe you can navigate through some of these thoughts yourself. And some people out there, watch Mr. Matty Plays or watch Review Tech USA. Both of them are offering some pretty interesting insight into this, and there's among many out there. But all I would say is think about it yourself for a little bit, but ask the question, it's not a good thing. It's not making Sony actually competitive with Game Pass by not including their homegrown studio games in the service. But I don't know in the long run that that's necessarily bad for the consumer. You see what I'm saying? It could be very good for the consumer. That said, it looks like Sony is just greedy. because they are greedy. They've proven it with Gran Turismo. Don't let those things be detached. Those things are all connected in all of this. All right. Have a good one.